Amy, are you for or against?
Against, mostly.
Why are you against?
Personally, I believe that, a lot of people, the argument is that alcohol's bad, smoking's bad, so why not legalise it? But two wrongs don't make a right. So you're just going to make everything bad and then just destroy the world.
But surely then you could just ban alcohol. You could, like you're saying, but. Tiernan.
Yeah, there's a direct correlation between harder drugs causing issues like aggression and alcohol causing aggression, but actually that correlation isn't there with the likes of marijuana. Marijuana is actually said to lower the heart rate and make people a lot more chill, whereas...
So just legalise it for everyone? We could all be running around the streets?
Well, there isn't any symptoms of antisocial behaviour or aggression with marijuana as much as it would be there with harder drugs or the likes of alcohol, but it's not aggressive and it's not hurtful and it's not harmful.
Yeah. Dosed out. I've seen people in the street and you literally see them sitting by the thing, and what I'm saying is, see if the way marijuana is illegal in this state. I have a friend who died of a drug overdose, and it's because he was given what he thought was marijuana, ended up being a different drug, and I'm saying...
But with legalisation,
no, but this is what I'm about to say. It's what I'm about to say. If you legalise it, you know what you're getting in each thing, but I think it should only be used for medical purposes. Fair enough, if they find it is as safe as alcohol, I'm not saying alcohol is safe, but in our state region, it is considered safe compared to drugs. If they're found as both being safe, anyone can use it if they want. I don't really care.
Right, Shane, what are your thoughts?
So I just want to sort of ask the room a question. Would you rather be locked in a room with someone who had just necked a bottle of Buckfast or someone who had just smoked some weed? There is no discernible social harm that I can find that weed causes that alcohol and the likes of cigarettes don't. So I really just do not see any reason not to legalise it.
Katie, what are your thoughts? Do you completely disagree?
I think it should be a wee bit more controlled, but I think if we legalise it, it's not going to help our society whatsoever. I think everybody's already out of their heads on it, so...
Jack, you completely disagree?
Yeah, I think the best thing we can really do with this is that it's a taxable income. It is something that we have that we can put the money towards, improve programs for getting rid of other drug issues, that kind of thing. I think it is easier to treat people with a chemical problem if we don't arrest them immediately.
Exactly. That's a medical issue rather than a crime. Like Portugal didn't Portugal do it recently? And they legalised all drugs.
Decriminalised all drugs. They didn't legalise them. They decriminalised them.
Yeah.
So very big distinction. Very big difference.
Okay. If they do that, and then it's treated as a medical problem, and it's a lot more effective and helpful for people.
Hugh, what are your thoughts?
While personally not a fan of all smokables, I believe it's no secret that anyone in this room who wanted to get their hands on weed would have absolutely no problem doing so. The fact is that it being illegal doesn't hinder anyone's access, but it does, as we said, hinder having it as a taxable income, as was said, hinder whatever medical benefits it has, and comes with the caveat, as Shay already said, that it's not any more dangerous than someone who has been neck and bucking. So
we've heard this from a few people now that we're talking about the taxable income here. Why is it that we take something that is inherently harmful and go, oh, this is a great way to make money? Why is that something we immediately leap to? That is such an immoral way to do something. Just because something is a way to earn money doesn't mean that we should be doing it.
Yeah, Robert, do you disagree or do you agree?
No, I would agree for legalising it for medicine use. Medicinal use, yes, I'm for, because it has been proved to help, but recreational use...
But what's medicinal use? In America this happens all the time. They have clinics for medicinal use and then everyone goes in. For my stress, can I get it for my stress? Anxiety?
For some diseases, yes, it is good.
Well, I do support legalising it, but just as an interesting topic, can you imagine how quickly Stormont would be back together if they were all just chilling? They had their Doritos, they had their legalised weed. We'd be back by the end of the week.
Actually, that's a really good question. You have to ask it to Jim Allister next time he's in. Carter?
You know what I think we're about to see at the moment is, in less than a month, we're about to see the first sort of real test, because Canada has legalized it. In less than a month, each household in Canada will be able to own 3 pot plants, grow their own weed, and basically make their own weed. Yes.
I'm really neutral on this because of it's subjective to the person. So personally, it's good for rheumatoid disease because I know people personally who've been on the news who have thought they have it for their children and they've been put in jail for it. So in them circumstances, I agree with it being legalised.
Harry, what are your thoughts?
You're talking about it being legal in Amsterdam, but I've been to Amsterdam, whatever, but there is no one that's on the streets. If it was legal here, I do think it would be a lot different than in Amsterdam because it would be abused.
Because it's part of their
exactly.
Also,
it has been legal for recreational use, but not here.
So,
We have seen consistently everywhere that legalizes doesn't fall into some sort of state of drug anarchy. I think that in this case where we legalize it, we get that sweet, sweet tax money, and we end up with a circumstance where the state is not acting like your mother in this regard. It is ultimately...
Sweet, sweet tax money, is that all we care about?
No, but in this particular circumstance, we end up with a case where it is no more harmful than alcohol or cigarettes or anything like that, and I like that tax income. We need it.
Amy, is it all about the tax?
Definitely not. But what I would like to say is that actually a lot of people are talking about the benefits of it. There's actually a lot of different things that can happen as a result of long-term marijuana use. One of the most proven is that young men who who consume marijuana for a long time are 7 times more likely to commit suicide. And today is World Suicide Prevention Day, so it could be more of a fitting thing to highlight.
So all the people are saying legalisation, we're saying that this has been proved, and yet we're all still in favour of legalisation. Shay? Is this not ludicrous?
No, I agree. I think people who say that, weed's the best thing, since sliced bread and it's good for you, that's not true. Weed is bad for you, but so is alcohol, so is eating cake. If you, let's say you overeat and you intake and you become obese, that's pretty much individual harm. With drugs like heroin...
Surely the state should be protecting people as well against individual harm.
If that's the argument, then we need to lead the crusade against cigarettes too. And completely ban those.
You talking about obese?
I'm on the way, Steve.
Kieran, what are your thoughts?
I feel like there's 2 things. First of all, it's harmful. Like we know how it'll do to people. Or the other side, we don't know the effects they'll have on people. People talk about smoking and drinking. Scientists are still arguing over what long-term effects vaping's going to have on people. We brought that out and everyone thought it was great. We haven't banned it. No one's talking about banning it.
Did we all think it was great, Tiernan? Did we really all think vaping was great?
There was no big outcry of we can't have this.
That's true.
This seems like a healthier alternative.
Well, we know that the money from cannabis is going into paramilitary groups, it's going into gangs, it's enabling a lot of the actual social harm that we can perceivably see on the streets of Northern Ireland. What we need to do is we need to start working on things like finding some kind of breathalyzer to stop people from driving on the streets. Actual things that we can use to stop it being used in a harmful way.
I'm completely pro legalization, entirely.
No, never mind, ignore me. I agree with your point completely. It's a fact of if weed is illegal, we have the same issue as they had in America when they made alcohol illegal. It becomes a source of income for criminal gangs, and people start using it that is stronger and more harmful. What will happen if we legalise it, hopefully, is that it'll stop being sold by drug dealers and it'll start being sold by medical professionals, people with a reasonable
keep your fingers crossed, Jack, on that. Luke, and Usari, and then we got to finish up. Luke?
No, I think definitely legalisation is the way forward for use of cannabis in the United Kingdom, because we have seen it will be taxable and the NHS needs more income for dealing with drug-borne issues. They need more money for education of young people for these issues, and most importantly,
it sounds like you're expecting a lot of tax to come in from marijuana.
No, but the rehabilitation programme can be bolstered by the taxes coming in from that, and if we are wanting to reduce male suicide prevention, or we are wanting to reduce mental health illness as a whole, then the rehabilitation process is
sorry, I got a final word.
Marijuana.
Yeah, I'd just like to second the point about paramilitaries gaining income from marijuana, and I say this as someone who is vehemently against recreational drug use. I think that the money is better going to the government than it is going to paramilitaries.
Well, that's our final word. I think we've achieved absolutely nothing. Congratulations all. There we go.
If you want to come to a top table debate night or even be part of the big Top Table show on BBC One, email us now, toptable@bbc.co.uk.